Hi everyone, welcome back to Build with Shreya, where ideas and stories inspire you to build something extraordinary. In today's episode, we are going to focus on entrepreneurship, building something from scratch, and building something new that's not only useful to you when you build it, but the people around you as well. In the last podcast with Yash Sultania, who is the CEO and co-founder of Xebo.ai, we delved into his startup journey, taking risks, pivoting into different solutions, and getting something out there. He is an entrepreneur with a vast experience in VC world, entrepreneurship, finance world. So lots there to learn, and we are today going to deep dive into the insights that he shared with us, add a little bit of our own research, and get something useful and valuable to you out there. So sit right in, get your coffee, and let's get ready. So let's talk about the rise of experience management as an industry. So Yash brought up an essential shift that is occurring in how businesses are perceiving customer interactions, that is moving from traditional services to more holistic experiences. And this is termed as the experience economy, where companies are focusing more on engagement, emotions, journey mapping over traditional service delivery. Did you know over 73% of consumers feel that customer experience is one of the biggest factors when making purchasing decisions, and only 49% of them actually feel that companies are giving some good experience to them. So there's a massive gap between the expectation and realities, and that's where companies who prioritize customer experience can really stand out. Take, for example, Apple and Disney. These companies not just only sell their products or services, but they actually craft memorable experiences. Whether you're moving into a Disney park or unboxing an iPhone, everything is meant to be memorable and delightful for the user. It's no surprise that they have the most loyal customers in the world. And they've embedded experience management as one of their core strategies to make sure that people don't just use their products and services, but they actually feel something special at every single touch point. So back in 2017, customer experience summits started gaining traction, signaling a shift on how businesses were looking at experience management and how it is gaining more value. So it was not about selling anymore. It was about developing those relationships with customers. At the time, most companies used to get the feedback from surveys or measuring CSAT, which is the customer satisfaction scores. But now the real game changer is the real time data and how you can derive different insights from it. So now we are moving into an era of proactive experience management where, thanks to AI and predictive analytics, systems can just automatically preempt and understand the customer needs without the customer having to flag issues and waiting for systems to respond to it. Just imagine moving into a hotel room with your preset preferred room temperature, or going into a streaming service, already having the content that's suitable for you even before you search for it. So that's the kind of era we are moving into, where people don't have to bring up issues to have them resolved, but it's not reactive and more about staying ahead of the customer needs. We spoke about Xebo.ai's journey, and Yash mentioned a lot of challenges, specifically entering a niche market of experience management in the global atmosphere. One of the things that really helped him was having a very clear focus that he wanted to improve the way services were delivered rather than the service itself. And the first major client that they landed was Bupa, which is British United Provident Association, a massive global healthcare company, followed by HSBC, which is a banking giant. So, seeing such big clients in a very early journey is quite rare for any startup. And that speaks volumes about how reliable the execution was from the team itself. And guess what? They started just with $50,000 of funding. That too came from his previous company, and very little sort of allocated to the engineering team. And that's what they started with. And they haven't taken any VC rounds post that. So it's all been bootstrapped after the initial seed round. And that's quite rare in the current VC world. And they've built a profitable business. And I think that's something that, budding founders should learn from. So as part of their go-to-market strategies, just selling the product wasn't enough. Like, they had to educate the customer, because taking AI and data-driven insights was something that they were not used to doing for experience management. They were more used to the traditional methods of feedback. So that is one. But when COVID hit, there was automatic adoption across the industries because the CX professionals were looking for ways on how to stay connected with their customers. And Xebo seemed to have all the right tools and methodologies to help them do that. So that helped them really grow during that period. Now let's get into the market comparison between GCC and India. So one of the most insightful part of the discussion with Yash was the differences between the GCC as well as the India market. And since Xebo is more established in GCC, he was able to make that comparison very well. And for anybody who's looking to expand their businesses internationally, I think this is something you should highly pay attention to. So Middle East market in general is in the middle of a massive digital transformation. And the best part is the governments are leading the charge. So unlike other regions where private enterprises sort of lead that, it's the governments who are pushing industries to modernize. Now take for example Saudi Arabia's vision of 2030. They want to lower their oil dependency and invest in more AI driven solutions, fintech, even customer experience solutions, or even the UAE market, like with the Dubai Smart City initiatives, they're now looking at more AI driven solutions as well. So there is an opportunity when it comes to just GCC region because it is still underserviced when it comes to the local SaaS solutions. Even though they have Salesforce and SAP, but it's not really locally tailored. And businesses are looking for more tailored solutions for that region. And so early stage startups can really leverage this gap and be the first movers in this area where they can launch their startup specifically in the international market and still have a good audience and adoption when it comes to that. Look at Oracle, for example. They invested heavily in their cloud infrastructure in the Middle Eastern region, telling us how major tech giants are taking Middle East seriously. And when it comes to companies like ServiceNow, after acquiring Moveworks for $2.85 billion, they have been strengthening their footprint in Middle East as well. So these are clear indicators of how promising the region is for SaaS solutions that can be locally tailored and locally adapted to the Middle Eastern region. So now let's talk about the SaaS ecosystem in India, which is world's most fast growing ecosystem. And specifically when it comes to companies like Freshworks, Zoho, and Postman, they find their home back in India. And with the government playing its part as well, with all the incubator initiatives, Startup India, and so many other programs to support all the new age tech companies, it is a hub for developing those solutions. However, when it comes to adoption, the companies find more adoption globally rather than locally in India. And the reason is the traditional businesses in India are still warming up to cloud based solutions. And also, enterprise SaaS faces a lot of competition with the more cost efficient local players as well. So another challenge is regulatory complexities, navigating taxation and the data privacy laws that can be daunting. Market penetration is a little slower than it is in GCC. And also, if you are sort of looking to expand into market beyond India, then GCC can be a great option because the government is pro innovation. They have systems in place and it's easier to navigate that market. So that doesn't mean that India isn't great, but if you're looking for a quicker growth and higher revenue per client, GCC might be the smarter first step. Now let's talk about the competitor landscape in the experience management industry. So Yash touched upon different competitors in the industry and also how businesses are recognizing customer experience as one of the key differentiators. So a handful of major players are leading the charge. So they're not just, collecting feedback, but they're actually combining AI with real-time analytics and driving actionable insights to redefine how brands are engaging with customers. Take Qualtrics, for example. It is a leader in this space, and companies like Under Armour, Chobani, Yamaha use them. They rely on Qualtrics' AI-driven platform to understand customer preferences, optimize product experiences, and enhance overall engagement. And the way Qualtrics integrates its feedback with decision making makes it a go-to solution for companies who are serious for experience management. Take another example of Medallia, which is a leading platform for real-time customer and employee experience tracking. It is trusted by companies like Hilton, Comcast, and Mercedes-Benz, all brands that rely heavily on delivering seamless experiences at scale. So Medallia's platform helps them analyze customer sentiments in real time, allowing these businesses to respond proactively to potential service failures and turning those into opportunities for loyalty for these brands. Retail and service based businesses are leveraging in moment which is powering the experience strategies for companies like Foot Locker and H&R Block. With its customer feedback analysis, it is helping companies pinpoint trends and also make data backed decisions for improvement of their customer interaction across every touchpoint. Meanwhile, for more structured survey based insights, SurveyMonkey Enterprise is helping companies like Box, GoDaddy, and Sonos refine their product and service offerings. Whereas, in contrast, companies like Four-Star and Alida, which are more community led, are attractive to companies like Red Bull and LinkedIn, which are looking for a more deeper and more qualitative customer insights. So, apart from the individual players, there are a lot of mergers and acquisitions also happening in the industry overall that tells us about how the industry is evolving and growing. For example, I quoted ServiceNow's acquisition of MoveWorks, which is a customer support AI platform, right? Which tells us how companies are prioritizing how they're interacting with their customers, and it's a big signal. The other one is Infosys Finacle program, that is digital banking SaaS for India's urban cooperative banks. That also tells us that experience management is not only limited to the retail and tech giants, but financial institutions are also thinking about how they can improve their interactions with their own customers. Another shift is the rise of digital experience platforms, that is DXPs, where businesses are no longer looking at just standalone solutions, but for solutions that are more holistic in nature. So that integrate seamlessly into their existing solutions and that help predict customer needs and also automate solutions at large scale. So they're looking for solutions that don't just, track the customer feedback, but they give a very personalized and seamless experience across multiple touch points. And so with this, I think customer experience management is not just a nice to have, it's a core competitive advantage that businesses are looking to thrive on and grow in this industry. So now let's talk about AI and the future of experience management. I think the core of AI is hyper personalization and how each response is unique, and that's how customer experience is highly benefited from it. Whether you're going to a favorite online store and it predicts the next thing you should buy based on your past interactions, your sentiment analysis of messages, and your search history, or whether it's Netflix account showing your favorite show that you should be watching next. So all of it is thanks to AI, and AI is at the forefront of innovation when it comes to customer experience management. So during our interaction, Yash brought up Sequoia Capital's latest report, which talks about how there is a fading emphasis on vanity metrics like website visits, app downloads, and to top it all, more emphasis is on customer experience related metrics like, CSAT customer satisfaction scores or the retention rates that actually tell about the customer experience and how satisfied the customer is rather than something that is most on the superficial aspect of the platform. So Yash's advice was for AI built for the next 5 years and not 20. And companies that use AI to train in specific use cases would lead this wave of CX revolution, which includes, optimizing support systems or user journeys, product experiences using AI. And if you have that sort of a time horizon in mind, you would be able to adapt and innovate on the go. And that is a very important perspective to have when you are adopting AI in your company and your solutions. So let's conclude this session with a few key insights from Yash's podcast. So the first one is that customer experience is at the core of brand differentiation. Second is India and GCC are distinct markets, but if you want to establish your startup outside India, start with GCC. It could be a very smart first step. Third is AI is not a buzzword. It is the basis of competitive advantage for the next few years to come. And fourth, investors are now looking for sustainable growth startups and not hype-driven startups. And as for Yash's parting advice, which was one of my favorite, he said that the biggest opportunities arise out of unpredictability. So embrace the chaos. And the best entrepreneurs do not wait for perfect conditions. Challenges arise out of nowhere. Industry change, things move. And so don't wait for that perfect opportunity. Just dive right in and embrace the uncertainty. So see you then next time with new insights, new podcast, and a new day.